Welcome back to my Philadelphia Eagles franchise here on Madden 23. Today we are kicking off our third offseason after winning our second straight Super Bowl. If you've missed the last few episodes, we were able to get into the playoffs as a 5 seed at 10-7. We then took down Justin Herbert and the Lions, Desmond Ridder and the Falcons, and then Dak Prescott and the Cowboys to defeat Joe Burrow and the Bengals in the Super Bowl 42-28. And on team stats throughout the year, we finished 19th in points per game, 14th in passing yards per game, and 31st in rushing yards per game. That is a problem. But over on defense, we finished as the 5th team in points per game, only allowing 23.7 points a game. Defensive pass yards, we are number 10, only allowing 260 a game. And then in rush, we are number 7 for 98.8 yards a game. And before we take a look at the yearly awards, we will take a look at the stats around the league, starting with our team. The first player we're going to look at is obviously franchise quarterback Glenn McCutcheon. This season he throws for 4,800 yards, 33 touchdowns to 25 interceptions. And let's compare those stats to his rookie season. Glenn McCutcheon finishes with the same exact passer rating of 85.4, 400 less yards, but 1 more touchdown and 2 less interceptions. So here in a few years, he may throw under 20 interceptions. He threw 27 last year, 25 this year, and that sucks, but we also got 2 Super Bowl rings out of it. So can we really complain too much? And last season, Tony Pollard ran for 1,031 yards. This year, he runs for 1,073, but only gets 4 touchdowns as opposed to last year's 6 touchdowns. And then rookie running back Brian Ford actually led the team in rushing touchdowns with 30 carries for 78 yards and 7 touchdowns. And then he had a pretty solid game. I think it was the divisional round against the Atlanta Falcons. He played really well. And our leading receiver, A.J. Brown, had 95 catches, 1,400 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Devontae Smith had over 1,000 yards on 82 catches, only 3 touchdowns though. And then Dallas Goedert, 70 receptions, 881 yards, and 10 scores. Quez Watkins, 60 catches for 682 yards and 7 touchdowns. Juan Jeffries got 2 touchdowns, and Grant Calcaterra caught 1. And then I almost skipped past this one. Rookie running back Brian Ford did catch 1 pass this year for an 8-yard touchdown. And Kaiser White leads the team with 137 tackles. What about tackles for loss? That goes to Josh Sweat with 25. And in sacks, Yannick Ngakoue got 16. Josh Sweat got 11.5. Fletcher Cox got 8.5. Jordan Davis got 5.5, Hassan Reddick got 4, Kaiser White got 2.5, Nakobe Dean got 1.5, Thomas Daniels also did, and so did rookie David Fernandez, and then it looks like Earl Hayden and Avonte Maddox both got half of 1. Now, what about interceptions? That goes to Sean Murphy-Bunting, who stepped up huge this year. We lost Darius Slay in the last offseason. I was really concerned if Murphy-Bunting could be a number 1 corner, but with 11 interceptions and we had like the 5th scoring defense or something like that, I think he played pretty well. Earl Hayden, the rookie, got 5. Avonte Maddox got 3. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson or CJ Gardner-Johnson got 3. Nakobe Dean got 2. James Conley got 2. Jason Flowers got 2. And then Kaiser White and Kenneth Murray both got 1. And I believe last season Jake Elliott went 30 for 31 on field goals. This year he goes 25 for 28. And he did miss an extra point, but you can see here that it was blocked. And now we will take a look at some stats around the league. Starting with rookie quarterback Nick Perry in Chicago, throws for almost 5,300 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. Derek Carr coming in with the best year of his career, 5,100 yards, 42 touchdowns to 4 picks. Joe Burrow, 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes, 5,000 yards, 46 touchdowns. And then second-year quarterback Donnell Roth is the last one to throw for over 5,000 yards and gets 39 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. He was the, I believe, second quarterback taken in the class with Glenn McCutcheon. Who led the league in touchdown passes? That is going to be Joe Burrow with 50. What about interceptions? That is Glenn McCutcheon with 25 by a safe margin. And then the most accurate quarterback that threw a decent amount of passes, because there is Theo Rudolph here in his second year, who completed 75% but only threw 65 passes. Patrick Mahomes completed 72% of his passes while throwing for 578 times. And leading the league in rushing yards is Joe Mixon, the former Oklahoma Sooner, with 1,482 yards. What about carries? That goes to J.K. Dobbins, who got 304 of them. And then what about touchdowns? That goes to James Robinson, who got 20. Najee Harris had 18. Ronald Jones in Detroit got 18. Joe Mixon got 17. Kamara got 17. Javonte Williams and Derrick Henry, who is now a Cardinal, that happened in the last offseason, also got 17 touchdowns. And then it is never really a shock in Madden 23 when you simulate games that Cooper Kupp leads the league in receptions with 128. In yards, he also leads there with 1,904. And in touchdowns, he once again takes the triple crown, leading the league there as well with 19. Elijah Moore got 16, Tyler Boyd got 16, Chris Godwin with 15, Robert Woods with 15, Gabe Davis with 14, Darius Slayton with 14, Darren Waller with 14, and our highest one, I believe, was 10, and that was like Dallas Goedert. And this middle linebacker out of Yale, who is a real player, I have no idea how to say your name, but he leads the league in tackles with 154 this year. And tackles for loss, that goes to Dietrich Wise Jr. Dietrich, I have no idea if I'm saying his name right. And in sacks, Josh Allen in Atlanta got 16.5, along with Shaq Barrett getting 16.5. And I don't know why Yannick Ngakoue isn't here, because he got 16 sacks, so he should be third. I don't know what's up with Madden stat tracking sometimes, but in interception, Sean Murphy-Bunting got 11, which led the league. Almost said 6 because that's what Jermaine Pratt, Stephon Gilmore, and Daniel Hobbs all got. And here are your yearly awards. Derek Carr actually wins MVP, leading the Raiders to a 9-8 record. And then Coach of the Year is Mike McCarthy. And I will try to do all of these in one take here. So the AFC side, the Offensive Player of the Year is Joe Mixon. Defensive Player of the Year is Myles Garrett. Offensive Rookie is Lionel Verner for the Bills. Defensive Rookie is Daniel Hobbs, a defensive back that plays for Pittsburgh. Best quarterback is Derek Carr. Best running back is Joe Mixon. Best wide receiver is Elijah Moore. Best O-line is Nate Davis. Best D-line is Myles Garrett. Best linebacker is TJ Watt. Best defensive back is Stephon Gilmore. And best kicker is Eddie Pinheiro. The thing with Joe Mixon is he looks like he had an incredible year but got injured in the playoffs because we did not have to see him in the Super Bowl, and I'm kind of thankful for that. And on the NFC side, the Offensive Player of the Year goes to Cooper Kupp with a 5-12 record for the Rams. I mean, he did have some incredible looking stats, but that's a little bit ridiculous. They go 5-12 and he wins Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Sean Murphy-Bunting. Second place was Yannick Ngakoue. Any other Eagles on this? Yes, Josh Sweat is down here in 8th. What about Offensive Rookie of the Year? I don't think we had any rookies starting on offense. I lied. We had Brian Ford. He wasn't starting, but he does finish 9th. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Earl Hayden. I'm actually okay with that. Any other of our rookies here? I don't think so. I don't think any other rookie defensive player actually got significant playing time. Best quarterback goes to Donnell Roth. Is our guy up here at all? No, he is not. All right. Best running back goes to Alvin Kamara. Any of our running backs up here? No, they are not. And best wide receiver goes to Cooper Kupp. Any of our guys here? AJ Brown got 7th. And that is it. Best O-lineman goes to Zach Martin. And it looks like Cam Jurgens is actually up here, which is a little bit surprising. I'm not going to lie. Best D-line goes to Yannick Ngakoue. Josh Sweat is 3rd. And no one else there. Best linebacker goes to Josh Allen. Shaq Barrett is 2nd. Any of our linebackers make this list? No, they did not, if I can talk. Best DB goes to Sean Murphy-Bunting. Earl Hayden gets 3rd. And that is the only Eagles here. And best kicker goes to Justin Tucker, who is now a New Orleans Saint. But we're now ready to jump to the next stage, so we officially will wrap up Season 3 and get ready for Season 4. And here is the 2024 season recap. Sean Murphy-Bunting actually gets Super Bowl MVP. I'm assuming due to that pick 6 there at the end of the first half, but honestly, I would have given it to McCutcheon, but that's just me. And then over on the side, you can see the yearly awards where they actually shorten it into one section rather than break them down into separate conferences, but Sean Murphy-Bunting still gets Defensive Player of the Year. And we do have a few upgrades to get to here before we really kick off the offseason, but let's start with Hassan Reddick. We'll up his speed rusher. He goes to an 84 right now with his boost, but he is down to an 81 overall with no boost there, +2 to finesse and +1 to zone. And then we have Avonte Maddox, who was actually up for a new contract. We're going to up his slot so he becomes a scheme fit. Okay, it did not make him a scheme fit, but either way, he gets +2 to awareness, 1 to change of direction, 2 to man coverage, 1 to press, and 1 to zone. And then there's quarterback Glenn McCutcheon going into his 3rd year. He also has an upgrade. We will upgrade his improviser. I'm still trying to get him some more throw on the run because that is one of his weakest points of his game. He throws a ton of picks off that, but he gets +1 to awareness, 1 to throw accuracy short, 2 to throw on the run, and 1 to throw under pressure. And before we get into re-signing players, I like to go over this right now. We have 11 players ready to negotiate their contracts, and we have $68.3 million in cap space to use. And aside from right tackle Lane Johnson retiring, which happened in the Super Bowl video if you did not see that, Nick Foles has also decided to retire. And here's everyone that is looking for a new contract. We have right outside linebacker Brandon Smith, Fletcher Cox, who decided to not retire after winning back-to-back Super Bowls, Derek Watford, Avonte Maddox, Hassan Reddick, Darius McGee, Sammy Watkins, who we brought in like in the playoffs. I don't know why his re-sign interest is so high, probably just because he got a free ring. Jay Spence, our backup strong safety, Leonard Porter, our third string tight end, Clayton Barber, one of our backup left tackles, and Matt Ryan wants a new contract. And honestly, I will offer a contract to Matt Ryan. I'm kind of surprised he didn't retire. Will you take this? Thanks for the offer, but I'm not interested in signing. That's fine. I wasn't going to play you anyway. And honestly, looking at these guys that are leaving, I don't think I'm going to re-sign anyone right now. Brandon Smith is probably someone I'll look to re-sign, but he has like no interest in us. Fletcher Cox is now 34 years old. We can probably get a younger defensive tackle in the draft, or Thomas Daniels played pretty well whenever he got on the field last season. Derek Watford, not really interested in coming back. Avonte Maddox, this is an interesting one. He wants about an $8 million contract, I think, over a couple years, but he's 29 years old, 84 overall, and Earl Hayden is coming off getting 5 interceptions, I believe. I'm more confident in putting Earl Hayden as our number 2 corner right now. So if I can get him back for cheaper or get another defensive back that kind of has his skill set, I probably will. But then Hassan Reddick is 30 years old, 81 overall. We'll look to replace him. Darius McGee, we will look to bring back McGee. He wants a 2-year contract. We'll just offer him that neutral deal. And he has decided he is going to come back. And now let's go back over here. We're not going to bring back Sammy Watkins, Jay Spence, Leonard Porter, Clayton Barber. I can try to bring those guys back if I really want to, but we'll need to get a new backup quarterback because Foles retired, Matt Ryan doesn't want to come back, and we'll look to get some new linebackers, I guess. And let's take a look at some of the top free agents available. This does not mean I'm going to go after any of these guys, but Aaron Donald has some pretty high interest in us, a 95 overall right end, but he wants $27.9 million a season. Probably not going to happen. Aaron Jones is here, Javonte Williams, Keenan Allen, Justin Tucker, Kenny Moore, Evan McPherson, Mike Williams. Who is playing wide receiver for the Chargers if Keenan and Mike Williams are both gone? Deontay Johnson is here, and he's actually a scheme fit for us. Trevor Lawrence is available, Nick Bolton, Leo Collins, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Okay, so after looking through everything here in free agency, there's really no one here that can make an immediate impact that I want to sign. Obviously, you guys saw guys like Aaron Donald are here, but we already have Josh Sweat and Yannick Ngakoue. We're paying them both a decent amount of money, so I don't want to bring in Aaron Donald as well. But Caleb Fairley here is an 80 overall corner with 95 speed. He has decent man coverage, so we're going to try to bring him in, along with, I don't want to try to say your name, something Okafor to be our right tackle, just in case I can get one in the draft. And then outside linebacker Sion Taki, I hope I said that one right, to replace Hassan Reddick. He's one of the highest ones with block shedding, one of the highest block sheddings in free agency here. Dom Barnett, if I can say his name, as our backup quarterback. He has a tag of a future starter, so I'm a little interested in that. And then I'm also trying to bring in Matt Ryan because he does have the mentor tag, so hopefully that'll help Barnett and McCutcheon both develop a little bit. But let's see if anyone wants to sign their contract here in stage 1, and it looks like we get Fairley, Taki, and Matt Ryan. And I've only added one more contract here now. I have added strong safety Eric Rowe to come in and be our backup safety to CJ Gardner-Johnson. Obviously still waiting on Dom Barnett and Okafor to sign their contract, so let's see if anyone wants to sign here. And it looks like they have all signed. We get Okafor, we get Eric Rowe, and we get Dom Barnett. So he will be our backup quarterback. Matt Ryan will probably be our third string. And the next thing we had to do was pick up Jordan Davis's 5th-year option. Obviously, this will postpone his contract negotiations for 1 year. And before we jump to the draft here, let's take a look at the free agency recap. Aaron Donald and Aaron Jones are both going to Tampa Bay. Javonte Williams is now a Bear. Keenan Allen is now a Titan with Justin Fields. Justin Tucker is now a Cardinal. Kenny Moore is also a Cardinal. Evan McPherson is also a Bear. Mike Williams is now a Raven. Harrison Butker is a Panther. Deontay Johnson is also going to Tampa Bay. So they're loading up on that rookie contract deal that they have for Donnell Roth. Let's take a look at quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence is headed to the Rams. Justin Fields is a Titan. Teddy Bridgewater is a Texan. Davis Mills is a Charger. Jared Goff is now a Jaguar. Marcus Mariota is also a Jaguar. Jimmy Garoppolo is also a Jaguar. So they signed 3 quarterbacks. Okay, Daniel Jones doesn't get signed by anybody. We signed Dom Barnett, and Josh Rosen is a Saint. And here is the final mock draft number 5. And it looks like the Jets are going to take a quarterback with pick number 1. And let's see how far down we are here. Obviously, we will be at 32. I don't know why I'm questioning that. Well, let's see who they say we will take. They're saying we will take left guard Zach Barnett. And we are about to jump into the draft here, but let's go over the draft picks we own. Obviously, we have our own first round pick. We have 2 second round picks, 2 third round picks, a 4th round pick, a 5th round pick, and 2 7th round picks. And looking through the draft board, there are some nice players here in the first round that I considered trading up for, but I think we're going to sit back at 32. So let's see who the Jets take with the first pick in the draft. They will take quarterback Roy Welch out of Yale. And then the Giants with pick 2 will take a left tackle out of Texas Tech. The Rams with pick 3, who just got Trevor Lawrence, take a left end. For pick 4, they take Addison Baldwin out of Iowa State. That is Cleveland. I forgot to say who was making that pick. And Seattle at pick 5 will take a right tackle, Harvey Williams out of Oregon State. Let's see how the rest of the first round goes. The Saints take left outside linebacker Denzel Miller. That was honestly the only player I really considered trading up for. The Patriots with pick 7 take right tackle Jaron McLeod out of Penn State. Our in-state rival Pittsburgh takes wide receiver Nick Vincent out of USC. The Packers with pick 9 will take a right tackle out of A&M. The Chargers have 2 first-round picks here, and they will take cornerback Martin Carroll with their second one. The Vikings at pick 11 will take an outside linebacker out of Miami. The Jaguars at pick 12 take a corner out of Notre Dame. The Ravens at pick 13 will take right guard Gene Clifford. At 14, the Panthers will take a defensive back out of Wyoming. At 15, the Buccaneers will take right tackle Bruce Hill out of Alabama. Our division rival Washington at pick 16 will take right tackle John Joseph out of North Carolina. Really don't like how many right tackles I've said so far up to this point. At pick 17, the Titans will take a right guard out of Clemson. The Colts at 18 will take a quarterback out of Oklahoma State, Cody Sweeney. I believe he actually won the Heisman here. I believe he had a draft story. Let me go over here and double check real fast. And no, he did not win the Heisman, but he was the best quarterback in the class, apparently, or at least the best quarterback in college. That was the award he got. The Lions at pick 19 will take middle linebacker Cameron Cooper. The Raiders at pick 20 take defensive tackle George Greenwood. At 21, the 49ers will take wide receiver Todd Lilly. At 22, Houston takes quarterback Caleb Snyder out of Illinois State, so they look to be moving on from Davis Mills, who I think actually signed a contract with a new team, so yeah, that makes sense. The Broncos at 23 take a left tackle out of Oklahoma State. The Cardinals at 24 will take wide receiver Darren Holley out of Colorado. The Bears at 25 take right tackle Roman Ayers. At 26, the Falcons take tight end Mark Colangelo. Sure. At 27, the Bills take right outside linebacker Jackson McAdams. At 28, the Chiefs take wide receiver Marquis Bishop out of Florida State, so he will probably put up insane numbers because every time the Chiefs take a receiver in the first round, they do. And then the Dolphins take middle linebacker Gunnar Messina, a middle linebacker out of LSU. The Cowboys, our division rival, take free safety Brian Bush out of Oklahoma State. And then right before us, the Bengals will take wide receiver Zach Shepard out of Florida. Okay, so I apparently should have been a little more concerned about the right tackles going off the board. I probably would have traded up had I known we were this thin at it. I saw there were several with decent grades, so I was like, all right, we'll be fine. But now the highest projected one is day 3. And with our first round pick, we are actually going to make a trade with Minnesota, and we are going to trade out of the first round to pick up a 2, a 4, and a 5 for this year. And we will go ahead and accept that, and let's see who Minnesota wants to take with our pick here. Let's see who they traded up to draft. They are going to take free safety Tyrell Truman. He looked to be the best player available there, but we already have a starting free safety in James Conley. All right, so this is probably going to be seen as a controversial draft pick here. Dallas Goedert is going into a contract year. He is a really solid player. He will be going into his 8th year in the league. I will have to make the decision if I want to bring him back or not, but I think tight end Teddy Austin could possibly be a good replacement should he leave, and if not, it's a really solid backup. He is the fastest tight end in the class. He comes in with a break tackle, a catch in traffic, a medium route, a short route, and I think we're going to draft tight end Teddy Austin out of Texas A&M, and he will have a normal depth rate, which kind of sucks, but I still think he's pretty solid. And our second pick here in the second round at pick 27, I'm going to trade it to the Rams to pick up a 3rd and a 4th for this year. And out of curiosity, let's see who the Rams are going to take with this pick. They are going to take tight end J.J. Russell out of Oklahoma State. Obviously, I would not have taken a tight end considering I just did earlier in this round. Alright, so I don't know how good of an idea this is, but here at the end of the second round with pick 32, I'm going to take right guard Kyle Robinson out of LSU. We may have to move someone over to right tackle there, but we're going to draft him now, and he will come in with a hidden dev trait. And with our first pick here in the third round at pick 3, I'm actually going to trade it to Jacksonville for a 2 and a 6 for next season, mainly the second round pick though. And let's see who Jacksonville wanted to take with that pick, and I know I'm doing a lot of trading today. They take Luke Meekins, a right guard out of Georgia. And now with pick 10 in the third round, I'm looking at left outside linebacker Mark Collins out of UCLA. He is a day 3 projection, but round 3 to 4 in talent because we have him 100% scouted. C awareness, B block shedding, A catching, B hit power, B impact block, and he is a scheme fit. We're going to take Mark Collins, who will have a normal dev trait. And here at the end of the third round, we're going to get a backup middle linebacker in Eric Novak out of Mount Union. C block shedding, C zone coverage, A to C tackle. He had a decent combine. He's not a scheme fit, but I think he can be a pretty solid player and be one of our backup linebackers. He will have a normal dev trait as well though. And now in the beginning of the fourth round with pick 3, I'm going to take right outside linebacker Colin Porter out of Eastern Washington, and he will actually have a hidden dev trait. And now here in the fourth round with pick 11, I'm looking at left tackle Jason Foote. And yeah, I know I see the F run block, A to C awareness. We don't know a ton about him, but we need some backup linemen because we saw how kind of thin we got last season. And this guy does have some sort of draft story, and he's one of the strongest tackles left. So we're going to take Jason Foote here, and he will have a normal dev trait. And we're going to make at least one more trade in this draft. We're going to trade away our fourth round pick here to the Packers to pick up a 5 this year and a 7 next year, just because I think there's more players later in the draft that I want that aren't really worth a fourth round pick. And out of curiosity, who are the Packers going to take with the fourth round pick we gave them? They take right guard Stephen Miller. And with our first 5th round pick, I'm going to take a wide receiver, Christian Peck out of Ohio State. He doesn't have great attributes or anything, but he is one of the fastest receivers in the class, so we will see if he can fight to make a roster spot. And with our second and 5th round pick, I'm going to take defensive tackle Joshua Donaldson out of USF, and he will also come in with a normal dev trait. And with my 3rd and final pick here in the 5th round, I want to take cornerback Oscar Newhouse out of Buffalo. He has a round projection of 1 to 2, but is still here in the 5th round, so he's probably pretty bad. But in my experience, when you get these guys, they can at least develop sometimes. So let's draft him, and he will have a normal dev trait, which doesn't really help him, and only 87 speed. So he may have an uphill battle to make a roster. And we're now here at pick 31 in round 7. We also have the last pick in the draft, pick 32. But we're going to take left tackle Levi Sheldon out of Texas A&M, and he will have a normal dev trait. I don't expect these guys to have hidden dev traits at all. And with the last pick in the draft, we're going to take strong safety Lance Bennett out of Northern Illinois. He has B hit power and C tackle and is decently fast, so I think he might be able to fight to make a roster spot. But we'll go ahead and draft him with a normal dev trait. So obviously I ended up trading away our first round pick this year. So the first player we drafted was tight end Teddy Austin out of Texas A&M. Comes in with 85 speed, 88 catching, which is right now at +5. He can't really block at all, but I don't expect him to. He should be a solid backup to Dallas Goedert. As good as Grant Calcaterra has played, he's going into his 3rd or 4th year now, so I think it was time to bring in a rookie backup. And our other second round pick is right guard Kyle Robinson out of LSU. He comes in with a hidden dev trait and is a 75 overall. He's got 88 strength, 74 run block, 72 pass block, and like I said earlier, he may move over to right tackle to replace Lane Johnson, but I'm not 100% sure yet. And then from there, I would say I really didn't draft well at all. We got a 69 overall outside linebacker, a 66 overall middle linebacker, a 62 overall outside linebacker in the 4th round, and then a 66 overall left tackle. We did get a 71 overall receiver in the 5th round though, a 66 overall defensive tackle. That cornerback that was projected in round 1 to 2 is a 59 overall. He probably won't end up making the team. Left tackle is Levi Sheldon at 60 overall, and then a 61 overall safety at the end of the draft. But now let's look how the rest of our division did. Washington got a 74 overall right tackle, a 72 overall free safety, a 75 overall running back in the 4th round. That's actually pretty solid, and they didn't get another player over 70. And the Cowboys drafted a 76 overall free safety in the 1st round and a 76 overall left end in the 2nd round. And then past that, no more 70 overalls, but those first 2 picks are pretty solid. And then the Giants got a 78 overall left tackle with the number 2 pick in the draft. And then they drafted quarterback Hal Kent out of Northwestern. He comes in as a 70 overall. Is he a hidden dev trait though? No, he is not. He is a normal dev trait. So it'll be interesting to see who the Giants are now starting at quarterback. Obviously, like midway through the year last year, if you didn't watch, they benched Darnold and started a 2nd-year player. And the Giants actually ended up with the best player in the draft, a 78 overall tackle like we just saw with the second pick. The Seahawks got a 77 overall right tackle with the 5th pick, and then the Cowboys got the 3rd best player in the draft in the 2nd round. And the quarterback the Texans took in the 1st round is a hidden depth trait for them. They took him at pick 22. And the quarterback the Jets took with the number 1 pick is not a hidden depth trait. He comes in with a normal depth trait. And the only other 1st round quarterback was quarterback Cody Sweeney out of Oklahoma State. He also comes in with a hidden depth trait. But that will officially wrap up this offseason video. The next video will be the entire preseason, and then we will get ready for week 1, which is apparently against Donnell Roth and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys next time.